We have completed file upload concept, I think, right? Let us run the example, sorry, output, and we'll move ahead. So let us see that out first. Please wait. Once we see the output, we can start another concept. Right. Let us see now. localhost 4200 right now. Just to see that out. Okay, right. Now let us work with the form validations and then later CRUD operations and then later routing like this. I just will copy the thing. Okay, let me do one thing. There is a contact us form. We just use this one. I will change accordingly. So let us use the concept of custom validation, which is nothing but a template form to validate that. In that case, first of all, let us do what? Let us change these things and active. I mean, see the output, and then or else, okay, let us write the total code and we can see later. Form validation right now. Then here, let it be simple. I mean, description we don't want at this moment. We just wants to create a validation for email address, full name, and let it be mobile number at the same time. If you want even password also, you can just check it out. Okay, so four things. Then as we want to make it, let me write this one. As we want to make it now form validation with even a template form validations, I'm using the way of template form. So I'm writing a form. As we know that we can create, sorry, we can specify an ID. So I'm writing here TMP FRM VLDS, and that equals to ng form, and it should not be validated in the very beginning. I mean, as soon as you open. When it has to be validated means when manually user starts typing of any input element, that input element should start its validation. It should show either success or failure. That's why we are writing no validate. And here ng submit, and that equals to, okay, anything, and then tmp frm vlds, template form validations of its value, which we have already written. See, additionally, we are checking template form tmp frmblds dot valid. This is taking all the values and checking whether the total form is properly entered by user or not. Okay, so now let us place these things. Let us place the table in between the form element, and in place of description, let us write a password. So in input type equals to password, name equals to password, then value equals to placeholder equals to. Okay, then now let us start off writing its what can say validation code. Then that input element, okay, remove this one. This form variables or properties which are used to validate here, and we need to write a validation. Let us write this one. Now instead of placing these properties as an individual property of each and everything, we just want to group it. So how? Let us write We want to create an interface. What is an interface? Where all the properties are kept under one name and that can be accessed. Export interface. Okay, let it be user record or user whatever it is. You are manipulating user record. You are validating user record. Where user record requires these properties. For each and every user who whatever that user is entering the detail that has to be validated with these things. And these, as you have placed under the name of interface, then that should not be, I mean, this interface cannot be directly accessed. That has to be assigned as a data type to any of the property. So that's why I am just writing something. A public is a keyword which giving an access throughout your, what you can say, program. It has to be accessed. User, user record. Like see, a string, they have given definition to work in that manner. We are just assigning a data type, sorry, we are setting a data type to the property. The same way we have given a definition with the name and that we are accessing as a data type to the user property. And then let us write it is a user defined method instead of for each and every time directly initializing the values, you even can also initialize the values at your user defined method also. Meaning you even can also take your user defined method and can initialize the properties and this method can be given a call in the constructor. This is the definition right now. So user property and that equals to as it is having an access to user record can able to access these four properties. But one thing, as it is already given this dot user, so you don't need to specify manually once again this dot something. You can just make it because this is a form validation component dot user dot full name. Full user is an object name dot property name. And when you have given a group of things under one block, then it should be separated by comma like this. But it is a point of assigning this total block to the user. Inside this, you are assigning the values. Then you have to use the syntax a colon symbol. So a property with its value in the object. Right. Now to access these things and that too dynamically you have to access now. Dynamically means you have to give two-way binding. That's why we have used what you can say template form. So let us do one thing. Let us make it 5, 7. Okay. Then input type text, class, sorry, name, full name, and defaultly, if you are just taking the value from the user input, you can just write ng model. But here it has to manipulate, it has to check whether user is typing properly or not, right? That's why you have to specify that as it is a dynamic value and dynamic has to give an output. While user is typing, it has to check and it has to give an output whether it is correctly entered or not. That's why we have to specify a square bracket. A square bracket when it is required something a value that should be dynamically manipulated, then that should be specified in between the square bracket. Inside this, as we want to take access from the sorry, we want to take a value from the user, so ng model, that is common, ng model, and this is a property which is coming from, I mean, which can be accessed from user and its full name, right now. Additionally, you are converting this full name property as an ID that equals to the value which we have entered is just assigning to the ID, where once it is assigning to the ID, then we can write, let us do one thing. Okay, we can write required pattern. We will write what you can see the regular expressions later. Just it is a syntax that you have to write like this, that name a value, and that should be dynamically check whether it is properly or correctly entering or not. To check it out, you have converted it as an ID with the value what we have given, and that mandatory with a minimum, sorry, mandatory with a required, we can say criteria that we will write. Once, okay, if user is entering that properly, nothing else to show. If user is entering wrong or something went wrong, then we have to show an error. So span hidden default with the username, sorry, full name dot valid is a built-in attribute. It is just checking that whether user is entering or not, first point, and that to properly entering or not according to the given criteria. Both the things. It will just check it out. Then additionally to this, full name dot pristine, pristine. The meaning of this pristine is a pristine is a built-in attribute. It's just checking that whether this input element is disabled or not. That is, user should, if it is written with the keyword, if it is written with the attribute disabled, then this pristine will give true. Otherwise, it will give false. We are just using to know this about this attribute. At the same time, before submission itself, before clicking the submit value, sorry, submit button itself, we have to give an output. either success or failure, right now. So for that purpose, you are writing full name dot submitted. The meaning, when user clicks on button, it will give true, but before itself, it has to check it out. So logical not, and write a statement. We will write that statement whatever we require. So now the same way, I mean, the two things what we have to do, pattern, we will just copy and paste, and something message. Okay, then the same way, let us do one thing. For email address, same mobile number, and even let me write. Okay, here also we have type name, value, placeholder, and even class equals to form control. Then let us change here. This is common for all things. Only thing, it will change its property. Whereas you can say email address, email address, and logical not, email address. Then mobile number, then it's password right now. Something miss, I think. It's a password, okay. It's mobile number. Okay, right, everything is correct. And additionally, you have to write that statements right. So let us write these statements. Right here, user dot email address, then user dot mobile number, and then finally like as already we have worked in same way in React.js and earlier in JavaScript also the patterns with the the patterns with the regular expressions. So okay, then now let us do one thing. Let me go with first password regular expression. Make it simplified thing. We just wants to check it out how this is working. That's it. We can write and oh sorry, mobile handwrite. Just write that matter. And then mobile number. Mobile number, regular expression JavaScript. Make it same like a simplified thing, not too much of complicated. Where you can write mobile number, then next email. Okay, this does not support like a dot in the middle, huh? Okay, no problem. Use this one. Then finally, let us take, of course, full name. Maybe we can get a output or not, or I mean, sorry, regular expression. But username will be easily. We can also change that username to full name. Username. Pattern. Then so let us do one thing to match. Let us write here at least five alphanumerics and underscore one letter number. Okay, we are done. If there is any changes, we can let's see later. And at right hand side part, we just wants to see the details. Table, table hyphen, show from submission details. So first you are saying that is form valid. That is whether user entered all the details properly or not. We are just checking that TMP FRM VLDS dot valid, and that should show in the format of JSON. This is also one of the pipe, whereas is form template form validations dot submitted. That is, with if the user is clicking that, sorry, if the user clicked that submit button, it will show true, or else it won't show true. Values. So everything we have done almost. Then we want to see the values. Make it, yes, we are done now. Call span 2. And then now, okay, we have to write a definition now. Here we have given do action of, right? So do action data or value, which is a data of user record and is valid. It is a boolean. And then console.log data and is valid. Then after all these things, now the name, this is the overall code, how you can write. Okay, one more point you have missed here. You have given a call to, so you have given a definition, but there is no call of init. That you just write here, because as soon as the constructor enters its execution, it gives a call to init, and obviously it will execute all the statements. And then form validation component. Import views then. That's it. Okay, we want to see now its output. And then I have hyphen form validation. Okay, then you can see that output. This is form. Is form valid? We did not enter anything now. So false. It is false. We did not click submit button, and we want to see the details. Okay. right? At least five. So inline it is working. So at least five alphanumeric and underscore one letter and one number. Okay. At least five we have written now. And whatever you are typing, instantly it is displaying in the right hand side part. That is at least five. So what we have written something. Full name we have given, something we have given. And then right, it can be of either 9, 8, or 7 something. Then password something. All the things are properly entered and the form where it is true. When we click on submit button, that is also true. Okay. Right. This is how you can create. Already we have done same concept in JavaScript even at React also the same we have done with the now Angular. Then in tomorrow session we will discuss the routing concept or another concepts. After all the concepts completing, then we go with routing. Okay, right then. Tomorrow we can have more time. I mean, as it is my weekend, so of course I can't give guarantee exactly. But if it is possible, we'll take more time. That is 1.5 hour. Okay, na? Right then. Okay, then. Thank you and bye.